What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam, my name is John Dawson, and in today's video, we are going to break down 5 more must-start players for Week 1 of the 2023 fantasy football season. If you guys are new to the channel, all we do here is free fantasy football content all year round, redraft, dynasty, and best ball. So if you're into that, be sure to subscribe on the way in. Other than that, guys, please get in the comments down below any fantasy football questions that you guys have heading into the first Sunday of the 2023 season. Please let me know down below. Starts, sits, trades, waiver wires, injuries, whatever you guys need, let me know. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. But let's not waste any more time. Let's hop into today's video. All right, first on the list, I've got Chris Godwin going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Guys, I get it. There's a big, drastic quarterback change here. We're going from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield, but I think we really need to seriously consider the fact that Chris Godwin is still going to get a good amount of volume throughout the season. Plus, this Vikings defense, this Vikings secondary is not good. They were absolute garbage last season. There's going to be a lot of good opportunities for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receivers in this game, but I especially like Chris Godwin. I just think the overall volume is going to be better, and I think the style of quarterback that Baker Mayfield is going to better impact Chris Godwin throughout this game. When we look at Godwin last year, it felt a bit disappointing, but ultimately, in games where he was healthy, he got injured week 1, he missed weeks 2 and week 3. But other than that, he gave you double-digit fantasy points in full PPR every single week, except for week 18, where he gave you 9.5 fantasy points. So, I mean, essentially double-digit fantasy points. So, at the end of the day, the Bucs are probably going to be playing from behind against a very poor defense. They're going to be forced to throw the football quite a bit. I think Chris Godwin is a lock for double-digit fantasy points. He's going to see great volume. It's a great matchup. If you own him, he's a phenomenal flex option moving into week 1. All right, I don't want to be boring, but I'm sticking with the same matchup. I'm sticking with the same offense. We're going with Rashad White against the Minnesota Vikings for a lot of the same reasons that I went with Chris Godwin, okay? Poor defense. Bucks probably going to be playing from behind. Baker Mayfield, I've been saying this all off season long, had the highest check down rate by any quarterback in the NFL last year. Played less games than a lot of the other quarterbacks in the league, but still, he likes to check the football down. Rashad White, in his rookie season, 58 targets, 50 receptions, and that was with Leonard Fournette in front of him for most of the season. So I think week 1, this is a great matchup for Rashad White in half PPR and especially in full PPR formats. I think he's just a phenomenal play. Everything is lining up here for Rashad White to be the workhorse back. I get it, Sean Tucker, looming, whatever. I still like Rashad White. I like his pass catching ability, the upside that brings to the table in this matchup. I think he's going to have a very solid week 1. All right, third overall, another running back. I've got Miles Sanders going up against the Atlanta Falcons. When you look at this Atlanta Falcons unit defensively, I think they'll be okay, but they still allowed the 16th most fantasy points to opposing running backs last year. And I don't think they like majorly upgraded anywhere on, the front 7 or anything. But the reason why I like Miles Sanders, not just the matchup here, is right now DJ Chark is out. And on top of that, Adam Thielen is dealing with an injury. He's questionable. So you're, looking at a rookie quarterback's first game as a starting quarterback in the NFL, and you've got the 2 wide receivers that you went out and you signed in the offseason hurt. This is not looking good for this receiving core. Jonathan Mingo, Terrace Marshall, Hayden Hurst at the tight end position. These guys could step up. I don't know. But ultimately, I think that the Panthers are going to have to rely on the run game. They're going to have to rely on Miles Sanders. The volume should be there for Sanders. The past kind of week or so, I've been a little bit more leery of Miles Sanders coming off of the groin injury, but he's off the injury report. He's cleared. He's good to go. This is what you need if you're a rookie quarterback. You need to have a strong run game. I think ultimately the Panthers give Miles Sanders plenty of touches in this game, and we know that he is capable of, getting some receiving work, maybe not a ton, but ultimately I think he's just a solid RB2 play. He gets you a safe floor, maybe not a crazy ceiling, but still a very strong start moving into week 1. All right, fourth on the list, I've got Mike Williams, which to some of you guys might feel like an obvious must-start player who's already in your lineup. But guys, we've been doing fantasy Q&A all week long, and I'm still getting questions about should I start Mike Williams in the flex or is my wide receiver too? The answer is yes. This is probably my favorite matchup overall going into Sunday for fantasy. The Dolphins and the Chargers. I'm expecting points in this matchup. And Mike Williams, the last time he played the Dolphins was week 14 of last year, 23.6 fantasy points, 6 targets, 6 receptions, 116 receiving yards, a touchdown. That was his second highest scoring fantasy game last season. I'm going to get it. That was last year. It's a new year and everything, but still very promising. We have a new offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. Justin Herbert should be unleashed. I think Tua and the Dolphins are going to play quite well in this game. That should result in a positive game script. And like I said, points. All I can think about in this matchup is points from both sides. I think Mike Williams is as good as a flex start that you could possibly have moving into the week. I mean, he's been kind of slept on. You know, his ADP was pretty low compared to a lot of other guys. I think he brings a lot of upside in the range that he was drafted, but ultimately a good positive game script here. He's still a very solid wide receiver, had a ton of double-digit finishes last year. You know, the injury stretch in the middle of the season, but ultimately still a good wide receiver. I love this matchup. Start Mike Williams if you own him, whether it's in the wide receiver 2 spot or your flex spot. He's a very solid start moving into week 1. All right, last but not least, I'm going with a tight end. I'm going to go Cole Kmet against the Green Bay Packers. The main reason is, in a lot of leagues, for some reason, Cole Kmet is still available. I mean, I've seen leagues where he didn't even get drafted. This is your tight end 7 last year. This passing attack for the Bears will be more efficient this season. Justin Fields is going to improve as a passer. I've been saying it all offseason long. But more importantly, right now, I mean, outside of Travis Kelce not playing in Thursday Night Football, we've got injuries popping up for Mark Andrews, George Kittle, Darren Waller. I mean, there are a ton of stud tight ends popping up on injury reports. It's a scary time here in week 1 for the tight end position. Guys, Cole Kmet is a great start against the Green Bay Packers. I expect this to be a competitive, relatively high-scoring game between these two division rivals. The last time Kmet played the Packers was week 13 of last season. 7 targets, 6 receptions, 72 receiving yards on the day, which resulted in 13.2 fantasy points. So ultimately, Kmet, Fields, they already have that chemistry. When Fields really started to get going last year, Kmet was a huge part of that. And like I said, there are just enough teams hurting at the tight end position right now that I thought it was important to throw a tight end on the list. If Kmet is a tight end that you drafted as a tight end 2, or if you just drafted him and maybe you've picked someone up since you drafted him, he's still a very solid start. Like I said, tight end 7 last year, guys. He had a great year last year. And if you're hurting at tight end for whatever reason, you're able to pick up Cole Kmet, or he's still available, he's a very solid start. I expect a good stat line for Cole Kmet, even with the addition of DJ Moore to this offense, maybe Khalil Herbert getting a little bit loose, Justin Fields as a runner, all that stuff. Darnell Mooney coming back from injury. I don't care. I think Kmet is one of Fields' favorite targets overall and a good security blanket for Justin Fields. And like I said, a very solid stat line is what I expect out of Kmet moving into week 1. And that'll do it for today's video, guys. I already have my must-start running backs and my must-start wide receivers out for the week. So make sure to go check out those videos if you guys are looking for a couple more guys that I really like going into the week. My co-host Steven has his must-start defenses and must-start kickers out for the week as well. All of those videos out on the channel. We've got whatever you guys need covered for week 1. I've also got streaming options at quarterback and tight end out for you guys. We're going live every single night for fantasy Q&A. And like I said at the beginning of the video, anything you guys need, start sits, roster reviews, trades, your players are injured, whatever it is, let me know in the comments down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe on the way out for more content like this and free fantasy football content all year round. And with that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on The Catch.